Hello, everyone. For a break from my usual about leadership and environment things, readers have asked me to share more about food. And coincidentally, today my sister asked me to share pictures of my fermentation. So here are my fermentation things. I love the pictures so much. There's only 6 of them. So this will hopefully be a quick video. And I wanted to show, here is a vinegar. So these are apples. And I'm going to show a couple more pictures that are closer up. These are apples in water, which turns to vinegar. It's not quite a sauerkraut because this is not cabbage in there, but it's basically a sauerkraut. I'll tell you more when I zoom in on that one. Another vinegar. I don't know if you can see here, there's onion that I'm pickling in there. A chutney, so this is mostly fruit, some oranges, the peels. This is cranberry. This is another chutney, almost done. Can you see how beautiful this purple is? It's this deep purple because I put beets in it. Really delicious. And this is the same as that. And I'll tell you more about what it is in a second. Also, this is my kitchen. Here are a couple more jars that I'll pick more stuff in. This is the refrigerator that I just started my 4th month with it unplugged. So I should have opened it here just see that it's unplugged. My goal is to go off grid for at least a month to see how that works out. Oh yeah, this here is the battery that I bought, used off of Craigslist, that connects to solar panels, which I have not yet bought, that I think will help me go off grid for a month. This is the same things from a different view. Here's my countertop. This is the bowl on my countertop where I put food scraps. This is the heart of a green pepper. When this fills up, I put it in a bag that I take to compost in the farmer's market. Here is a bowl where I put the steel cut oats to soak overnight. I didn't realize steel cut oats, you can just soak them for a little while and you don't have to cook them. Okay, here's a close-up of how do I make vinegar. Here's all you have to do. Chop up apples to about this size, put it in water, let it sit. The bacteria in the air will turn the sugar in the apple first into alcohol, so it's briefly a bit of wine, and then the alcohol into acetic acid, and it becomes vinegar. The first time you do it, what I read is that you have a 50-50 chance that it'll taste good. It'll always make vinegar, but some strains of yeast or bacteria will make flavors that you don't like. I happen to get it good the first time, so every time when I'm just about to finish this, I'll chop up new apples, put it in water, and put a little bit of this one in, so it'll take the bacteria and the yeast from this one and make a good tasting next one. So I'm really liking the strains that I've gotten. It tastes really good. Actually, you can just drink this stuff. This one isn't yet vinegar. It's still kind of watery. But when it becomes vinegar, it's basically kombucha. You can just drink it straight. Now, a neighbor was getting rid of a bag of sugar. They were moving away, so I got this bag of sugar. I would not buy a bag of sugar on my own. If you put sugar in, the yeast and bacteria will turn that into more acetic acid, so you'll get a stronger vinegar. I used to do that because I liked stronger vinegar, but then I started doing it with just the apples. And actually, it's the kind of seltzery, winey taste, really good. You can just drink it straight, which is apparently healthy. But I usually put on salads. Then this is, you could call it a sauerkraut, but the greens in it are not cabbage. It's when I go to the farmer's market, this is how you make sauerkraut. Chop up cabbage or whatever green leafy vegetable you want. I've made it with lettuce. I've made it with beet greens. This was with cauliflower greens. You just chop it up into little bits. You got to look up to see how much salt to put in. But I put about a third of this into a bowl. That's what size the bowl fit. And that was like a 1/4 teaspoon, a third of a teaspoon of salt. So for this whole thing is maybe a teaspoonful of salt. Chop it all up, put it in a bowl, put the salt in, stir it all up so the salt basically gets everywhere, and then put it in here and let it sit for 2 weeks. After it's ready to go, it never goes bad. It just gets stronger and stronger sauerkraut flavor, and it is amazing, the flavor. If you have only gotten sauerkraut at stores, try it sometime to make it at home. It is really like prep time. I don't know, it's actually more than 5 minutes prep time, but this is many, many meals worth of sauerkraut. Here's the vinegar again, and you see this vinegar has been going longer. Or rather, I put in more of this SCOBY, symbiotic something of bacteria and yeast. Symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, I think SCOBY. And so when I'm almost finished this vinegar, I'll put this SCOBY, this bunch of bacteria and yeast, into the next one. It's all symbiotic. I can just drink this because it's so good. And it's like drinking kombucha. So it's a little bit of alcoholic. I think there's a little bubbles in this one. So this one, why did I make this? I think I just had a lot of fruit and decided to put it together because I just chop up the fruit into little bits. I see orange and cranberry. All I got to do is chop it up, put a little bit of salt. And so probably for this whole thing, I put in maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, stir it around so the salt gets mixed in, put it in a jar, let it sit, and then the flavors come out. And I used to have chutneys at Indian restaurants, and I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what was in them. I just figured it was lots and lots and lots of ingredients. It just comes out tasty every time. This one, I added some beets into it, and it turned into this incredible purple. I can't tell you how delicious. I'm not into presentation. I just like to eat food, but this was so beautiful. And then here again, free. Did I mention that these were free? I go to the same stand all the time and I ask them, do you have any food scraps? They're like, yeah, here's this box, because they have to take it back to the farm. The farm doesn't need extra food scraps. They got plenty. So by giving it to me, they save themselves work. So they're happy for me to take this free stuff. I buy a few things regular and then I get the free stuff. So I think that's all. Yeah. So this is a quick view of what I happen to be fermenting today. When my sister called and asked me to send her pictures, I took the pictures. I hope that this gets you into fermentation. It's really easy. It's just chop fruit, chop vegetables, add a little salt, or if it's vinegar, you add a little sugar. That's all it takes. Let me know how it goes.